All right, folks, we're at it again, painting. Did a very short one this morning, very short painting session, and yeah, maybe knock out a little bit more this evening. So I think we're getting ready to do some red stripes when I noticed that there was a mold line right through the middle of the shield, so we couldn't have that. So we had to go back and scrape that, and I think that's where we left off, is primering that back. So let's let's get to the. I got half a mind. We'll do it after this one. But I got half a mind to just change the paper on here. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and do that because it's just getting really difficult to work with the edges of this. So this is still moist, but this paper has seen better days. Just take this and go that way, and we're gonna go ahead and re-wet this and put a new one on there. Back. Okay. That's been re-wetted. And this is this everlasting wet palette that I used. I've had this, I lose track, 2 or 3 years. I don't think it's more than 2 years. It might not even be 2 years that I've had it. And it came with 50 of these papers, and I'm not sure how many I have left. Yeah, it came with this pack of the wedding sheets here. Oh, I got at least 20 of them left still. So let's go ahead and grab another one. Set it in place. Bam! And we'll straighten that up in a second. I remember somebody mentioned, like, how do you get it to stay down? I'm like, well, all you got to do is be persistent. And you got to use the magic words. Stay down, you thing. Here. Just run it on the edge. And bam, you're done. And I'm going through these a lot quicker than I thought I was, but then I'm painting a lot more than I ever have before. Well, maybe not the last couple of weeks, but in 2020, I'm painting more than ever before. And some people would say, well, everybody is because of the pandemic. And I'll tell you right now, for me, it's not because of the pandemic. It's because I'm filming my painting. So it's a lot easier for me to stay on track. And I wanted this recenter a little bit more. Would get annoying. I want to stay on track, and that allows me to do that. So I don't go into one of those, oh look, shiny moments and go into something else. So okay. Right, so let's go ahead and put the usual suspects out here. Mr. Black, Mr. White right in the center, so we can access them from all spots. Now, I'm not sure why this is. I've never done this before, but it just seemed like there was a lot of surface water on there. It's a black there, don't need a whole lot. And where's the white one? Right here. They're going to hang out next to each other and hopefully not fight. All right, that's some comments. Let's see what we got here. John Peter, liked your DBN game the other day. It prompted me to get out my Napoleonics. Hey Joe, how are you? Painting session number 2. Hopefully this one's a little longer than the first one. The first one was just sad. It was just too short, but that's what happens on Saturday mornings now. Right, let's get a little bit of this one. Yeah. I didn't mind the DBN game, but if I was really into Napoleonics, I probably wouldn't play DBN. In other words, if Napoleonics were my period, I wouldn't play DBN. It's just not it's not Napoleonic enough. That doesn't mean it's not a good game. It's just, if I was really into, well, it's the same thing. They make a version of DBA you can play World War II stuff with. I forget what it's called, but I am playing that. I mean, that doesn't scratch my World War II itch. Phil Barker makes a ship game, right? I believe it's called Damn Battleships Again or something like that. Yeah, DBSA. And people are like, hey, you like naval wargaming? You should do that. Yeah, not me. I'm a rivet counter, man. I need to know. I need to know all those millimeters of armor in different places for ships, or I'm not satisfied. So that's not for me. But like I said, if I was really into Napoleonics, I would want something that's more detailed. It's more detailed. So, ooh, I made a boo-boo. I got distracted painting this, and I left some paint on this brush. Well, I didn't think today was going to be a smorgasbord, but I guess it is. As we'll clean this brush up, and then we'll use a different one to start painting the striping on that. Hopefully I haven't had too much caffeine today and get the jitters, but usually it does not affect my... Usually it does not affect my pulse. It affects my attention span, but not my pulse. But the only reason I brought that up because I'm having some coffee from this morning. We may have to let this sit on this brush. That's strange. I never do that. Well, apparently I do it. I don't remember doing it. Let's put it that way. I was distracted. I pulled the other miniatures out and we were talking about some naval miniatures and some of my World War II stuff, so I got all excited and forgot where it was. Okay. Let's just let this do its little magic. Come check on that a little bit. All right. And if not, well, that's why I buy 40-cent brushes. So it's not stressful. Stuff's going to happen, so. So I had an interesting experience today that I was not expecting. We went to look at cars for our lease. Our lease is up in like 6 months, so we figured, well, let's start looking at cars. And see, I forget, I know I mentioned this before, and some of you might find it strange that I'm going to say this, but I forget there's a pandemic out there. And I honestly forget about it. So there's apparently an inventory issue with vehicles. So, yeah, didn't go exactly planned. It's not like I was going to renew the lease today, but it was just, I'm glad we decided to start working on that a few months in advance. So it wasn't like we needed to make a decision right now, but I'm glad we did, because otherwise, would have been up a creek. I was not expecting that to be an issue. All right, so let's put the red. Oh, we're not going to use vermilion. We don't like that one. That one's a little, well, not for this red. It's a little too orangish. Let's see. We've got, which one of these two? We've got Scarlet. Oh, Scarlet's the one that's super orange. All right, we're going to use flat red. This one's the one that's the least fruity. This one's just kind of standard red. Yeah, I wasn't expecting inventory issues. Oh well. It's really hard to forget that that it's going on, especially because, I mean, we've never been as busy as we are at work. And it's not like we're in the medical field or anything like that. We're in construction. It's never been as busy in 26 years. And I don't know whether it's getting extra busy because new guy's going to come take over and maybe put a bunch of regulations and slow everything down. I don't know. It's busy as shit at work. I forget that there's some kind of a crisis going on. So, but I have done a lot more painting this year than any other year, and it's just due to filming it and forcing myself to stay on track, and you know that's a good thing. And I already forgot the direction I was going to go in. We needed to paint this in light gray. See, I'm already being distracted. All right, so that's what we're getting ready to do, and we actually did before I had to cover this in black. So let's go mix this up. The stripes are gonna end up being white, but we need to, let's create the darkest color for the white, and we're gonna paint this entire shield in this color. So only take a moment. Okay. Let that dry a little bit. Da-da-da-da-da. Greetings from Bologna. Awesome. Pen meat. Or is it pan mate? Or is it pan mate? No, that would be an accent on the E. Welcome. Okay, so we want to do a center red one, and got it. All right, so let's get in. Let's get in a little closer here. Let's get in a little closer here. Put this over here, and let's do some magic. All right, and of course the secret here is to pace yourself. And we're not going to try to get the complete thickness it's going to be. We just need to pace yourself. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to drop a line right through the middle of this shield. All right, what do we got? We've got two above, two below, right? We got another one here, and another one here. Okay, and then one here. Then one there. So you got something like this. Well, that's not how thick it's going to be, but you want to center it so that you basically put a line and then you can correct and build either way from it to make sure that they're a considerable similarity in thickness and distance from each other. So remember, these guys are hand painted too, by the people in that scale, so it doesn't have to be perfect. I can only imagine what kind of brushes they had in that time period for, this isn't Michelangelo painting these things. This is just some commoner that likes goats. So that's, it doesn't, I need to adjust this thing. There you go, let's get this. I'm gonna go over that. And what we're painting is the darkest color the red's ever gonna be. Oh, we gotta get the fan going. It's totally still in here. What speed? Let's do a 3. 3 should be good for that. Well, it did start off cool this morning, about maybe the high 40s. And of course, it dropped into like 70 degrees. So, you know, another hot day. All right, I think I probably should be able to work with that. Let me just clean that up with the gray, which I still should have right here. Perfect. This is actually one of my favorite things to do, is paint the paint shields. Okay, we'll come back to the white, but let's keep going on, stay on the red train here. Okay. Is that a little bit more red? I don't think we need to go to a different brush. I think this one will do just fine. A slow build up. Not going to do it in one coat. All right, now let's go back to the white. And you got to make sure you rinse your whole brush because we don't want any pinkness in there. Let's compare brightness with this one. You lighten up the red a little bit, and we should be good with that. We could use some of this right here. There we go. A little bit of this thinner. This thinner goes a long way to make the color not stick, so you get a clear an easy flow from like what I'm doing, so it doesn't hang up and catch, clump up, all those bad things. There he is. Okay. All right. Let's put that penknife out of there. The one falling on the top of my foot. And I think we've gotten our money's worth out of this paper towel. I'm worth it to get a new one. Let's see. Yeah, I figured I'd do some painting today in the afternoon, have something positive, get some positive stuff done, feel good times. All right, so we've got some gloves that we need to do on this guy. Let's use this color here. This is khaki. By Cookyards. Already fallen asleep. Now, we'll definitely do some painting in the morning. By 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So, crap, I just got rid of that. Let's put this over here. Yeah, there's no perfect paint bottle. Each paint bottle has its issues. This paint is probably the best one, I'd say. Has zero smell. Not that Vallejos are stinky or anything. Joe, I don't know if you're still there. You caught any of the video that we did earlier this morning. Some guy was asking me about my ships, and I pulled out I think I've got 3 2400 scale ships left. Until like cruiser and just 3 destroyers or something like that after selling all of mine. But yeah, I didn't like how mine looked. They're ugly. So that was one of the things that I actually sold. What would it have been? Well, over 10 years ago now. So, man, I had a lot of kits. Man, I had a lot of kits. So. And very few of them were not started. That was the old Tony that started quite a million things at once and then didn't finish them. So, but fortunately, when I bought them, they were a lot cheaper than when I sold them. So I think I got all my money back that I spent on them. So you pulled your Napoleonics out, John Peter. Did you you just pulled them out and looked at them and put them back away, or did you do something with them? I don't have any Napoleonics to pull out, but thankfully, the guy who bought all the troops, he has just about all the armies already, so I won't be tempted to paint any of that stuff, which it's always good. I don't need to. I don't need to be pulled in more than one direction. Let's see. This guy's got some gloves that remind me of somebody would use if they like roped cows. They're very big. They're very dominant gloves. They're now on my work table. The French and British all need to be rebased. The Prussians just need touch-ups. Just spray paint them blue, right? The Napoleonic's a pretty common period, but I wonder how many people out there, those that game really obscure stuff. Like I'm not talking about like Franco-Prussian War. I'm talking about really obscure, like maybe the independence wars of South America with Simon Bolivar, or the Paraguayans and Bolivians or something like that. That's got to be really, something more obscure than Mexican American War, which I think is pretty obscure because it's a kind of a short period of time, and I don't know if there's a whole lot of interest to all all around. I would say probably the period that has the least amount of interest that covers the United States period, and I'm saying United States because that's where we live, but it's probably War 1812. I think for every person that's playing Revolutionary War, I mean, for every 10 people that are playing Revolutionary War, there'd be one 1812. It's just a kind of a period that just doesn't have a lot of. I'd say there's probably less people doing that than a Mexican American War, which is still pretty obscure. Um, yeah. Well, there are people that make figures for all that stuff, so it can't be that strange. You just may not have much of a choice of as far as manufacturers. Also, like to have information on the units that is necessary for DBN, so I'm making them some signs for them. You might do a War of 1812. You just don't have any 15 millimeter Indians. I do, but I call them Rajputs. Oh, you mean Native Americans? Indians in 1812? I guess maybe it was a thing. Oh man. Okay, so we got his gloves done. Let's do his undershirt. We did an off-white on this one. Let's just do pure white on this one. You could just substitute Indians for Indians. Yeah. There you go. I'm off to India, my boy. All right, let's lighten this up some more. The Forgotten War. Isn't that what they called Korea? Although I would say that the War of 1812 was more forgotten than Korea. Oh, man. Holy yawn fest. I swear I'm immune to coffee. All right, Lance color. Let's see what our options are. Let's do something like this. Should be nice. Indians were a major all caps player in the War of 1812. Tecumseh, bless you, is the first name that comes to mind. The chief, not the engine, and not isn't that Sherman's middle name, right? Tecumseh, William Tecumseh Sherman. I could be wrong. Let's get this base color down here. Then we can do the other shades on top of it. You've got some 15 millimeter stockades in a western gunfight town that could work in there, but then I would not use DBN because the Indians were not stupid enough to line up to get shot. Yeah, exactly. It wasn't about being stupid. It was just like, that was the only proper way to fight. Okay. It'd have to be a skirmish game. Yeah, that's good. Roll to reload. That reminds me, I need to find Blast of the Mohicans, have my daughter watch it. I think she could probably handle watching it. I know it's very violent, but it's a rated R movie. I think she'd like it. I used to know a guy that was an extra on that movie. I didn't recognize him. He just said, "Oh yeah, I'm like the guy that he played a British guy that was in a marching column." This was so long ago. I don't even remember what the guy's name is anymore. He used to come into the store. What was his name? Shit. Anyways, he was a guy that he said, yeah, he was an extra on there. He was part of the British column. He's like, yeah, I'm there in that one scene where we're marching through the woods and Magua buries a freaking hatchet in my head. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's great to be known for that. You're the first guy Magua backstabs. Perfect. One of my favorite lines from that I still remember. I don't remember all the details of the movie. I mean, I remember the ending, but you know how you get from point A to point B. I don't remember anymore. Only seen it a couple times. One of my favorite sayings from that movie. One of my favorite sayings comes from that movie is when at some point in the movie you've got the new lieutenant. I don't know if he was a lieutenant, but we'll call him a lieutenant. He might have been a colonel or whatever. He comes over from Great Britain, and somebody asked him what their purpose was being in North America, and he responds without any hesitation, to make the whole world England. I just remember that being very funny when I first heard that. What do you know why we're over here? I said, to make the world England. Yep. I wish they would have filmed it in in New York, not South Carolina. Didn't know that. They probably didn't film it in New York because they wanted to tax them for everything. Knowing how New York is. Not sure why. Now they film everything in Georgia. Georgia gives them all kinds of tax breaks for it, so they film lots of things there. In the last, I don't know, 15 years, become more common. Tax breaks, tax incentives. Brian. Brian was the guy's name. I don't remember what his last name is. Brian was the name of the guy that gets cleaved by Magua. He was a tailor too. He used to do, at least that's what he said he was. Maybe he just dealt drugs. I don't know. But he said he was, he'd do uniforms for reenactors and stuff, which is actually kind of cool. If you can make a living doing that, that's kind of a cool job and keep you busy. Kind of neat. You visit Ticonderoga several times. They're doing a nice job restoring the fort. Fort Ticonderoga. Not the aircraft carrier, right? Not the Essex class aircraft carrier. See, that's what I recognize Ticonderoga as. I'm taking it Ticonderoga as some fort that was up in New York State that was involved in the French and Indian War. Which seems really strange that they would have called that war that. I mean, I know it's the 7 Years' War over here in the colonies, but why couldn't they have called it the French, Indian, and British War, or the French and English War? It just seemed really strange. Like the French and Indians. Well, okay, they. Hey, nobody gets to. Nobody asked me when it's coming to naming things. It's still a better name than the War of Jenkins' Ear. Come on. You could do better than that. Ticonderoga. I've only been to New York one time, and it wasn't in New York State. It's really interesting how some people find some parts of history interesting and then others not. Like, I'm not particularly interested in American history, and I'm over here. I'd much more be interested in European stuff. Maybe there's people in Europe that feel the opposite way. They're not interested in the European stuff. We played one American War of Independence game relatively recently with using a modified version of DBN, and I need to think about what battle it was. It was a battle where somebody got ambushed. I think it was the English got ambushed. Was it Riscany? Something like that. I don't know what it was. It was kind of fun. Correct. It's a Gibraltar of the area. Everyone had to paddle past the fort on their way from New York City to Montreal. Okay. So that means it's on the Hudson? That would make sense. Hudson goes like due north. I don't remember what happens when it hits when it gets closer to Canada. I know it goes due north there. It's the border between Connecticut and New York, if I remember correctly. There must be a portage in there somewhere, but from Lake George, Ticonderoga to Montreal, it's clear sailing. I don't know how you get from the Hudson to Lake George. I don't know either. What did I find out recently? So I've been watching some I've been watching some stuff at lunchtime, some history programming at lunchtime on YouTube. Little short stuff, 7-minute long stuff. And I came across something that was talking about Greenland, like why Greenland belongs to Denmark. It's just a little 7-minute long thing. And I didn't realize that the Portuguese actually landed on there first. I mean, like, gee, what? And and the reason it's called Labrador is because that was the last name of one of the Portuguese explorers. So they actually went up to Canada. I had no idea. I thought they were just messing with Brazil. I didn't think they touched North America at all. I think it was just Brazil, the coast of Africa, and South America. Had no idea. I guess they didn't stay long, and they eventually went something else. But I was really surprised. I was really surprised. Learn something new every day. All right, let's lighten this up a little bit and probably be done with this color. Okay. It's probably a similar color to the plants on this one. Yep, that's fine. I did the same pose on both on purpose, so that way I could make sure that they were they're different from each other, so that it doesn't look like. Keep that in mind. I'm guessing that Labrador means the golden arm in French. I have no idea what Labrador. It was named after a Portuguese explorer. It was named after a Portuguese explorer. Labrador. I would have said the golden brassiere is what it would have been called in French. But no, it was the last name of the surname of a Portuguese explorer. I had no idea that. Or at least that's what the video said. It might be wrong. Hey, it's on the internet. It must be true, right? Yeah, I would have thought it would have been the bra made of gold. Oui, oui. Now, we're done with that. We got some bootage to do. Let's do dark boots of this guy. Bootagery. All right. Let's get some black in here. There's so much left on this army to do. It's best not to worry about it. Just keep on plugging along. We'll get there. Or we won't. But we're not going to start something else. These will be the next army I get to complete. Assuming I get another army complete, it'll be these guys. Mm-hmm. It's got to be on the internet. It's true. It's got to be true. It's on the internet. Well, let's see. What we got left in this guy to do? Stirrups. Yeah, a few other things. Man, I'm struggling to stay awake here. Wow, it's just 6 p.m., just after 6 p.m. Of course, I've been up for 13 hours by now. Okay. Stirrup time. I'm going to try. I'm going to just drill this thing out. This is one of these colors that always seems to clog up. Some of them are more susceptible to others. And this one already has a reputation of being difficult to work with. Very cloudy. And that's coffee without sugar in it. If I had sugar in it, I'd really fall asleep. I was going to look up brazier to find out who invented it. I got distracted, but did not come up with a name. It was not Otto Titzlinger. Otto Titzlinger, yeah. Good man. Good man. Otto Titzlinger. Jawohl. That reminds me, I gotta find old reruns of Hogan's Heroes to show my daughter. Man, I had some good times watching that with my dad. There's some funny stuff. Funny stuff. Herr Titzlinger. All right, this is going to be the color we're going to use for the saddle. Okay. Oh, I see. I can't use that as the color for the saddle because it's too close to the color of the horse. It's not going to look right. Right. That's, can't use that one either. Plan ahead a little bit. All right, we can use this one. Mahogany brown or marron caoba. 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 You got any of that caoba color? 1 hour. Man, that flew by. This takes a long time to do this. But, you know, I'm sure this arm will be done by the next convention we have. Whatever the hell that means. Yeah, I watch I've seen other people's videos and stuff that they do. They're always working on something different or a different period or something like that. I just don't know how to do it. I mean, I'm not hopping all over the place and it takes me forever to get something done. So I honestly don't know how they have the energy or to hop around. All right, what do we got left on this guy? I need to get some more ice. Let's see, there's zero left, zero ice left in this iced coffee. Now it's just sweaty cup coffee. Be right back. Okay. Many wargame eras have their fascination. I explore more than one. Me too, but I realize that it's unsatisfying to not do enough of it. There's um, there's a couple things that I've just really there's some things that I really hadn't considered in the last 15 years of playing DBA really have kind of made me kind of think about things a little differently. And that is when you have something like DBA, that doesn't have a lot of detail, like really zoomed in. You have to realize, well, what kind of a role are you actually playing as the commander? And I never really gave much thought that a lot of games are trying to present themselves as playing a skirmish game, but you're actually not playing the role of a certain person. Instead of you're just moving a bunch of like individual squads around. So it kind of, I'm not going to say fails in its purpose because I don't think the purpose is really declared what it is. But like DBA is, you're basically you're like playing a general or maybe the king of a country with its entire army, and that's the kind of decisions you're kind of making. You're not moving individual companies or squadrons or stuff like that around. I never really thought about that stuff until I came to DBA, and you've got the whole PIP mechanism where you can't do whatever you want because you're orders take time to get to the individual units. Before, you'd be like, oh yeah, we'll play a skirmish game and yeah, we'll have like 40 tanks on the side or 15 tanks. Like, well, what role are you playing in that? Or are you making decisions that, a company commander would be making or a battalion commander, or are you just moving around 20 tanks? So I think a lot of games just, they don't really have it set that there's a certain role that you're trying to play, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it was just kind of unique. It's something that I've played games a long time, and it never occurred to me that 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 there is something like that within the game, part of the game that I think DBA does a really good job in, and I would not want to play another rule set that didn't have. I don't know what I'm trying to get at. All right, drink. Of course, this is coffee. I guess what I'm trying to get at is I like games that, without knowing that I like games, I now like games that there's a specific role you were trying to play. And if you're playing a World War II setting, you're basically doing the role of a battalion commander. Then you don't need to know what's going on in a squad. If you're playing a division commander, something like really zoomed out, like maybe that Rommel rule set or something like that, then you're not worried about what individual companies are doing. I just never gave it any thought that that's, you know, you're kind of role playing a different role of a military commander in a lot of these war games. And when you look at it like that, it kind of makes more sense than just pushing pieces around. I don't know. I had always played games where you had to do fog of war by handicapping the actual player that's playing them. So, in other words, if I'm playing a game against someone, and it's the other person's turn to move, and then there's fog of war, I have to leave the room, and they have to move things, and then see if I physically can spot them, and if I can, then they get put on the board. Instead of a game where it's figured in like DBA, where both people can be in the room the whole time, both people see, I mean both in assuming it's a two-player game, but multiple people can see everything that's going on and everything that happens, but yet your people don't listen to you. You have to roll to see if everyone can do what they need to do that turn, which in DBA is with the pip mechanism. So before DBA, it never occurred to me that there might be a better way to go about it other than physically handicapping the actual player. And I think the game, it creates a more friendly atmosphere when both people see everything that's going on, and especially in pre-measuring too. Pre-measuring is huge. I don't know if I want to play a game that doesn't have pre-measuring because it solves a lot of arguments. Maybe not necessarily with our group, but just with people in general. Um, People don't want to feel like they were outsmarted when it's really a function of the dice. You just had bad dice. Bad dice are going to be, they're not always going to be on your side. So I think that it becomes, it's a lot better just to have everything out in the open. It creates a better environment. And I've never played a game before that where you couldn't just push everything to the max. Like everybody could, assuming your troops are in good order, move everybody as far as they could every turn, all the time, you know. Um, Instead of like, oh, well, I can't move everything, so I got to pick and choose and make some hard decisions. So um, I was all settled here in here, Tony, and now I have the urge to get an iced coffee. You can never have enough iced coffee. That's you watch my games. We make fun of drinking, but it's caffeine is I could do without alcohol. Caffeine is my I'm a caffeine junkie. Just remember, black and cold, no sweetener. Sweetener just slows us fat guys down. I used to have the fake sweetener, but that stuff's not good for you. You know, used to drink it black, and but I could like fall asleep after having it. So it's an immunity. I'm kind of an Irishman. An Irishman to alcohol and me to caffeine are kind of the same equivalent. It takes a lot to keep me up. So yeah, everything's possible with caffeine. You go from I don't know how I'm going to do this all to is that all you got? Yeah. I'm afraid I'm not very exciting. That's all my drug use is a little bit of alcohol and caffeine. Sorry, I'm not exciting. More exciting, folks. What first attracted me to WRG was that if I was a bad player, my troops would just leave the table. What? Let me read that again. What first attracted me to WRG was if I was a bad player, my troops would just leave the table. DBA3 is attractive because it's a lighter game. I can even solo game it. What attracted me to it is it allowed me to play with my own figures and use my figures against someone else's figures. That's what attracted me to it. And I didn't have to get up. I could just sit down and be calm. I don't have to reach over a table. And allowed me to paint, things in red. So, okay, we didn't do the reins on this side. Forgot to mention, Rick, I still haven't, I noticed that your videos came the other day, you got a dice advent calendar or something like that. I'll have to check that out. That sounds interesting. My daughter was wanting to get an advent calendar this year, but I don't think we found one for her. Something that's not chocolates, please. We don't need, I'm not into sweets, so that stuff's not tempting at all. Unless it's ice cream. Then it's on. It's on. The chocolate, I couldn't care less. Okay, let's do this in this color. See how that turns out. This guy's not very flamboyant. Flamboyancy costs money, and this guy is just getting by. This guy is just getting by on a meager salary. That's why he's out here being a mercenary. That's the backstory of what's this guy's name? We'll call him Jurgen. How about that? Yes, today is the halfway point. I haven't opened today's yet, but so far the dice have been very cool. Of course, they're all kinds of different shapes with various patterns and colors. Well, that's great because you played a lot of different things. The funny thing is that the only dice I use now are D6, right? Because all these games, that's the one thing when I started playing this, I'm like, what kind of dice does it use? Oh, just a single D6. I'm like, that's stupid. D6, what's that for? Monopoly? I'm a D10 player. I'm a percentile guy. So, yeah, I'm not used to these well, I am now, but I'm not used to these D6 games. Like, there's just not enough different variables, and I just kind of forgot about it and got used to it. WRG has reaction tests, and if you command your troops to do suicide moves, they would not always do it. They might refuse to move or even retire based on their reaction result. Yeah. Well, What I'm gaming now, the reason it's really good is everybody's involved all the time. Your troops are all involved at the same time. If you attack someone, the other person gets a reply in it. It's just they're involved rolling the same amount of dice both sides, and that helps a lot. And I guess it's kind of like a save roll, but I don't really like save rolls because sometimes you go through so much effort to try to get a hit and you finally get one, and then the guy goes, saved, denied. I'm not a Warhammer guy, so I never grew up with that stuff. So it's weird to have save rolls. It's like, well, I hit you. Well, no, you didn't. I know it's a way to get more probabilities in dice, but it's just really. We played one game. I want to say it was what's that modern game that was all the rage 10 years ago. I have it. Um, oh crap. Oh man, that Osprey game. It was. Man, that's happening all the time anymore. I forget what it is. The skirmish game when you're running a couple squads and it's kind of vague or whatever. There's no range measuring or whatever. Um, Anyways, I have the rules. We played a game of it, and that's what happened is you take a hit and you get the save on it, and you might have killed units, but they're not really killed. Force on force. That's the one. Force on force. Yes. We were playing a little Gulf War, and I talked my friend into playing. I said, "Come on, we'll play we'll play the Fedayins." And I right off the bat, I came up with our battle cry. It was going to be Fedayin for the win. We had a hoot playing that. Had a hoot playing that. And 15 mil individual figures and stuff. So again, it's one of those things that I just don't want to learn the rules. I don't mind playing the game, but man, I just can't be the point man on new rules. It's just it. I'm just burned out on trying to figure out. It's the DBA thing. DBA burned me out on reading new rules. I'm tired of it. So I don't mind playing other things, but I just don't want to be the point man on it. Just like the card game that we played. Again, another rule set that I can't remember the name of it. Gaslands. I have the rule set. I had the original one, and bought the big nice book. Those Osprey games are too nice looking. I like to really take care of books, and when you use them in games, you just can't help but things happening to them. Not horrible things, but they get bent and they get used. And I don't like seeing my books damaged. We're gonna do all four slots on this guy because I like that. While we ramble on here, and I let Scott read the rules and he runs it. I can go in there and figure things out, but I'm burned out on it. I'd much rather be creative and make fun of things when they happen in a game, that kind of stuff. I don't want to sit there and be the point man on the rules anymore. So I do want to play them correctly, but I just it's just it'll be a lot. It's almost like I should just make my own rules. Then I don't have to figure them out. I could just kind of do them on the fly, right? So, Fedayin for the win. Yeah, you'd get a hit, and then the guy would save. So you basically would knock guys out. Basically, the way it worked, it was almost like you were incapacitating them. And again, I think that the game ran pretty well. But it did not have a lot of detail. So if it's a period that is like your thing that you're all about, like I couldn't play, force on force with, say, World War II as my backdrop. I mean, that would be criminal in my book. But if you're going to do modern or something like that, yeah, okay, you know, that'd be all right. I always think that the more time you spend painting a figure, the nicer your figures are, the more time they should spend on the tabletop, and the more detail the game should have. So I don't want to spend like all this time, hours painting these figures, and then okay, odd or even they die. Like what? I mean, they need to have more like character than that. But that's just me. That's just how I'm used to games being really complicated. I don't want them complicated because you don't finish them, but not because I don't crave that kind of detail. Um, so this other horse has a stripe on his head, doesn't he? Yep. So this one won't. Just for variety's sakes. Okay. Yeah, I got some ideas on a modern setting for the force on force. So I don't know if I would use that rule set or use something else, but again, I mean, if I can't even get these DBA armies painted, what am I trying to do creating something that's even more time consuming? It just, I'm realistic in thinking it's just never going to happen. So it's good to daydream, but I'm just not interested in buying stuff and never doing anything with it. Been there, done that. I should, where's the marker? I better mark this. This is my stone gray. Far out, man. Stone gray. And you can't read what it is because it's been opened and closed so many times, but I know that's what it is. That's one of my hoof colors. Yeah, again, I bought Force on Force, didn't look at it for 8 years, come back. What do you mean it's out of print? Stuff like that. It's so strange to have things go out of print. So strange. Hopefully, with a lot of things being print on demand, that's going to be a thing of the past. You could just ask for another copy and they make another one, not, print up all these books and then nobody buys them or it takes them a long time to buy them and they don't reprint them. And then that's when people want them, you know? Print on demand seems to be a pretty cool concept. What we got left on this guy? We got some stirrups to do. which I think on the other figure, I forgot to do them, or I did them in the wrong color. Hey, shit happens. Shit happens. Let's get good old Vallejo bronze, extremely useful color. Force on force. Yeah, all that forgetting things names, that's happening more and more often. I figure got maybe another good 5 years in me, and then I'll be, drooling on the floor in a wheelchair. Hopefully not. And I forgot to say hello, Jeffrey. I've got no way of telling who's online here with me unless they comment on something. So, I don't know that you guys would know that. It's just one of those things. This guy needs a scabbard, and let's do a scabbard of a different color. Let's see. Scabbard. Let's use this one. Some white in here. Okay. Horsehair. Let's get Schutzstaffel brown. Oh, I'm sorry, they call it black. SS camouflage black. Hmm. What's this? Weather report for tomorrow? Gonna be hotter tomorrow. Yuck. All right, let's paint all this in this color. Mm-hmm. This is when we're done with this guy, we got 4 more nights to do. And both of these stands of the deep night figures will all be complete. So we could do one of my favorite things, which is assemble them in different. It's totally dark out, and it says it's 63. Yeah, it's warmer. It was dropping into the 40s there for a while, just about every high 50s, low 40s during this time all week. And it's starting to warm up again. Yep. That's unfortunate. Okay. I think this guy's good for now. You know what? Let's take a little bit more. Let's brighten these white lines up a little bit more on his shield. See if we can get him to pop just a little bit more. Not popping very much. Not much difference, but I know I did it, so it's all that counts. Now let me get my little block here. And okay, and here's the other one. And I can't even see them myself because I got this little chat box on them. There we go. Same pose. Well, the horse isn't the same. So this will go and join the other 6 knights that are fully armored. Okay. Yeah. DBA Monday should be. I just don't know what time we're going to get there. And I'm not sure what we're going to do. I don't know what we're going to do. I didn't know that we were going to do what we did until maybe 4 p.m. It was ridiculous, honestly. It's ridiculous that I didn't know about that, which is fine. I'm fine, whatever. But we that's the plan to do that. I don't know what it is. I know what I'd like to do, but it just depends on how many people show up. If you make it, then Scott makes it every time. I make it every time. Mitch makes it every time. So that's four. We should do is like a historical battle, but I don't know if we're going to get around to doing that. I got to do some research or whatever. I'd like to see those new Samnites in battle. That'd be cool. That would be cool. Lots of people say they hate solid ox. Solid ox are broken, yada, 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 yada. Well, not compared to Warband, folks. Warbands suck. I've had solid ox kick butt before. I don't know about a whole army of them, but a whole army of one thing isn't good. I don't care what that one thing is. I love bow, but I don't want a whole army. It's all bow. That's a good way to, or a whole army of knights. Used to have one of the players he would show up and he'd have the Sarmatians, which is Sarmatians are like all knights or something like that. Yeah, that's a lot of stuff they can't deal with. Any terrain at all, they're up a creek. They're up a complete quick. All of one thing isn't a good thing. So, yeah, there should be some kind of DBA, and I don't know what we're gonna do, but we'll do something fun. Can't guarantee it'll be filmed, not live. Filming it live means I don't have to edit it. So that's as busy as I am. That's much. That's nice. Not having to edit that. I guess they're playing other days of the week as well, but I'm only going to play DBA. I'm not really interested in playing board games or what have you. I got one day a week I can go play, and by God, it's going to be DBA. It's not going to be something else that I'll just end up forgetting how to play. So, okay. Next figure. All right. So we've got these four left. We've got some guys with a shield here that has a central rib. These two guys. And then these two guys almost looks like it's corrugated. Okay, these guys had the same type of dicky as the guys I just did, so let's not do that. And let's do the guy on the red horse first. Right. No idea what I'm gonna paint him. So what do? Let's paint his damn helmet. There's no doubt about that. Paint what you know, folks. If you know what color something's gonna be, just go ahead and paint that. You don't have to go in a certain order. You don't have to figure out what color everything's gonna be before you start painting any of it. Just jump in. Now, I noticed one thing. His spear is kind of bent. Let's see if we can straighten that out a little bit. Yeah, it's not too bad. The problem is when these spears they get all bendy. Some manufacturers use a harder alloy than others. So. It's okay. Yeah, don't get bogged down by analysis paralysis. Just go in there. If you can't figure out what to paint, just paint what you know. At least you're painting, and maybe it'll help seeing some color on the figure. It'll help you decide maybe what color to paint the next thing by actually seeing it on the figure. Analysis paralysis. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and do the other figure too, because he's going to have the same color helmet. Might as well. I got to do it anyways. I take it Europe is still shut down, in shutdown mode. I'm glad I'm not over there. Though I would love to work from home. Hell, just for a week. Okay. Back to the figure we were doing. You're shutting down big time on Monday. I don't know. All right, that's dry enough. We can go ahead and drop Nuln Oil on it. Oh, I forgot I still got to do war wagons for this army. It'll take a long time. They'll be super cool looking though. They will be super cool. Shutting down big time, and you're never going to get back to work at this rate. Okay, yeah, might as well do this other one as well. No, I'm afraid 2021 is just going to be more of the same crap. So I think if we ever get out of this thing, I think they should just, the people that shut everything down, that were in charge of shutting everything down, they should be shut down. How about you guys not get a paycheck for a while? How about them apples? I'm glad I don't have my own business. I wouldn't be able to handle it. I wouldn't be able to handle it. Okay. Time to give this guy a facial. Now, what's this thing think it's going to do? The corner coming up like this. What kind of uppity corner is this? Get down there. Don't bring the academic until someone in your bowl gets infected. My son now needs to quarantine because his daughter caught COVID in kindergarten. Well, I don't know if I'd mind spending 2 weeks at home. Is it half? Over half of my vacation days this year I didn't use. I thought I was going to be able to use some next week. Nope, it's not going to happen. I mean, I could do it. I could have taken them. I would have to do so much work ahead of time and then fix it when I came back. It just isn't worth it. So we'll learn next year. We'll take days off for no reason. I don't like taking a day off for no reason, but I guess I'm going to have to start doing that. Because I was just figured, well, I could take them in December, and just December's just been too busy. It's just too busy for me to take off. And I mean, it's not like they said you couldn't take off. I'm not going to work Saturday and Sunday to take Monday, Tuesday. I'm not going to work Saturday and Sunday frantically so that I can take Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off, and then have to work Saturday and Sunday again just to get right back on. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. It's just a personal choice, and next year we'll just take days off just take days off. I just canceled our convention trips and our cruises and all that stuff, and just figured, well, I'll just work it. I'll just work it. I'll take the time off later, and it just never came about. But whatever. I'll just have to take a day here, a day there. Supposed to be off last week. We had the biggest week last week ever in 26 years. Just insane. So, yeah. Whatever. Now we know. Now we know what, because I'm sure 2021 will be more of the same crap or worse. So, I just don't like taking days off for no reason. And I certainly don't like doing a shitload of work in advance just to take time off to fix it all later. And, you know, oh well. Only 18 more years to go, right? Or so. Hold on, let me do the math. Less than 18 years. Yeah. I'm retiring as early as I can. I will not work in my 70s. I'm not going to do it. Don't care if I can afford it or not. I'm not going to. I'll live under a freaking bridge and paint figures with my outlight. I've worked every day since I was 14 years old. I'm not going to, not working in my 70s. I figure us war gamers and stuff, we're affected by this a lot less than everybody else because we're social. Hiding in our rooms and painting all day. Right? We're all getting tested on Monday, and then we have to go into quarantine anyway. You've been off for 10 months now. My wife is a caretaker in a nursing home, so we've been very sensitive to the whole issue. You can enjoy the time off, but my wife keeps finding things for me to do. Yeah, I don't mind doing stuff. I just don't want to be interrupted in the middle of doing stuff. That's the main thing. When I come home from work, I don't want to be interrupted. If I start doing something, I want to finish it, or I don't want to even start it. If I know I'm going to get interrupted in the middle of it, I don't even want to start it. It's unsatisfying. It's unsatisfying. Well, so about this dude. What color to do his little dicky thing is? I kind of have a little theme going on where it's kind of an off-white color in the whole damn army. think I'm going to keep that going. I kind of like that little bit of a tie-in. It doesn't mean we have to use white. We can use an off-white color like this one that's already over here alive. So. Mr. Shevlin, good evening. Good evening, good evening. We've got these, sometimes I get lazy. I got this color here and I got this one right here. There you go. That's the two colors that this dickie's gonna be in. So let's go ahead and paint that now. I don't know what color I'm gonna do as shield. I'm not worried about that right now. I'll figure that out as I go. I'm thinking something blue related, maybe some blue on it. These other ones are red and white, red and white. Can't have everybody with a red and white shield. I mean, you could, but you need some variety. These guys are mercenaries. Not like I said, well, you can bring a shield with you, but it's got to be these two colors. I don't want them totally motley, but we grandparent our grandchildren at least every Sunday, so we're now at risk. That's why we need to get tested. I'm pretty sure everybody's been exposed to it at this point. And I'm fine staying away from people. I don't like people to begin with. Well, I made a comment earlier. I don't think there's been a year that I remember that I've been healthier than this year. I'm just not traveling to other places and getting common colds and stuff. I don't remember the last time I had a cold. usually go to the theme parks multiple times a year. Not this year. Well, I think we did in February or something like that, January, and that's it. We didn't renew our passes or anything. So that's one of those that every other time we go there, somebody brings back some kind of a minor cold or something. Nothing major, but not this year. We spent less time around people that don't wash their hands. Whoa, hello. The ship is sinking. You've been off for 12 months now. So you've had no income for 12 months, 10 months, or the government subsidizes you, or I can't imagine that. I can't imagine having a business where the government says you can't run it at all, but then the government is the people that telling you can't do it anymore still get their paycheck. I just can't imagine that. I can't fathom that. It's like, okay, well, you can't stay open. Okay, well, can I run it from? No, you can't do that at all. Okay, well, then the person who own, then I can't pay my lease, which means the landowner doesn't get any money from me either, which means the bank that the landowner pays the money for my lease money also doesn't get any money. So how about the government subsidize that guy too? Where does it end? The government covers my financial losses. Okay. No, there you go. There's a solution. There's a solution. Yep. Okay, this guy's Dickie's done. Now, I feel like this guy needs to have some kind of a red themed overcoat. Now, it doesn't have to be bright red. And as a matter of fact, just to prove a point, I'm going to use the same red, but we're going to do it a little differently. So we're going to take brown. We're going to take this dark brown, and we're going to use this as the darkener in this red. And let's see how dark we want to go. Oh, and of course, the problem with that is that this is a red horse, but it'll work out because it's going to get lightened up some. So we're going to paint his whole overcoat in this, and that'll be a nice contrast to the cough that he has. around him. Yeah, sounds good on paper, anyways. We'll see if we can put that into practice and still have the correct. But how long did the Black Death last? I don't know that. 3, 4 years. The bubonic plague. My order books for 2021 are full. I want to travel work. I want to travel work. If it doesn't happen, I expect that they will continue to support me at least July 2021, but I'm not getting any younger. Yeah. You want to travel and work. You want a change of environment. We're going somewhere between Christmas and New Year's. I ain't working that week. F it. I don't know where the hell we're going to go. We're going to go somewhere colder. We're going to go somewhere colder and not as congested. Not that it's congested here, but for those that got the Black Plague, it lasted about 4 days and we're dead. No, how long did it last around Europe? I don't remember. Was it 10 years? Because there's no way this can last longer than that. If they make it last longer than that, I say we all revolt. F that. That's ridiculous. What did it last? 10 years? 4? Certainly it was at least 3. Now, interesting, this turned into like a nice brown color. This red, this dark red on his shirt. I'm half tempted to just lighten that up right there. I think that would be a nice color. You know what? It's too late. I am tempted. I'm doing it. Yeah, that's right. No planning, shooting from the hip. Swing on by, Tony. We just had first shovelable snow today. Well, I don't want to shovel it. Jeez. Uh, you know, I can't handle the dryness. I can handle the cold. I can handle the cold. We went, let's see, 2019 went to Colorado. A year before that, went to Utah, both during spring break. And it was, when we went to Colorado, it was 18 degrees out. And it gets 18 degrees in this part of Florida. But, our 18 degrees is a hell of a lot colder because it penetrates you. We slept with the windows open at 18 degrees. We had to, just to keep the freaking heater from the heater. I detest the heater. It dries everything out. So yeah, I like cold and I like wet, but I also like clear skies. So that's I'm spoiled in the winter in Florida. It's almost always beautiful sky, but I don't want to shovel that crap. That's just I don't shovel and I don't rake. I got to keep my hands in good shape, man. You don't want to see all these blisters and stuff on here, But I do like those mountains. It's just the anti-Florida. It's amazing. It's like the freaking moon. It's just somewhere just totally different than what we're used to. But We'd spend all day outside. I think none of the days got over 60. I mean, you got up to 60, which is certainly warm. We were outside all day long and we never smelled. You know, like when you smell when you go outside, well, you step outside here for like 10 seconds and you smell like humidity, moisture, a swamp. And yeah, it's all the humidity and the pollen and the stuff that we have here. But don't get me wrong, I love Florida, but I don't like the weather here. It's just too damn hot all the time. Whoops, did we spill anything? No. I'm not going to complain about living here. We get to play DBA every freaking week. I could play even more than once a week if I really, really wanted to, if I really wanted to press my luck. But I'm not going to complain about that. That's that part's really pretty good. So, but you're out in Nebraska. There ain't no mountains in Nebraska. Well, there might be some. Compared to Florida, there are. The middle of everything or the middle of nowhere? It's damn near in the center of the country. Okay, here we go. We cannot go anywhere over Christmas. No gatherings of more than 5 people from one household. So what happens if you have what happens if you have 4 kids? You can't get together? 2 parents and 4 kids, that's 6. Black Death peaking in Europe from 1346 to 1351, according to the internet. Started in 1346, ended in 1353. Okay, that's 7 years. All right, so let's do the math. If this shit isn't over by 2028, I say we all revolt. Screw that. Hey, we got to do it while still in decent shape, or I'm just gonna be holding everybody back. You know what I'm saying? Kids don't count. All right. Let's see how we can break this. No gathering of more than 5 people from one household. 5 people. Okay. So what if you live with both grandparents of both sides? That's 6 plus kids. Okay. What if you're Mormon and you have multiple wives? Or you don't have to be Mormon. What if you just have multiple wives? Um, Black Death resulted of up to 75 to 200 million people in Eurasia and North Africa. Aha, but what percentage of the people back then was it? Because that could have been a much larger percentage than this. I'm sure it was. No gatherings, 5 people from one household. Yeah. No Christmas gatherings. You know what that means? Krampus wins. Krampus über alles in 2020. You guys have that crazy festival where people dress up like that. Yeah, that wouldn't work here in the United States. We got guns. Yeah, not no demonic goat wearing mask or frolicking through my town. Sorry, pal. Oh man. New York for Thanksgiving, they try to limit it to 10, if I remember correctly. Yeah. No limits here. I don't want to be around that many people anyways. I don't like there's not that many people I like all in one room. Total the plague may reduce the world's population to 4 million to 4. Yes. Yeah. Yep. I get you guys had a shitty Oktoberfest season this year too. You know, I've never done those. I've never done anything for Oktoberfest or St. Patrick's Day either. Shame on me. Yeah. We're doing something. My Irish are ready to party for St. Patrick's Day. I got them done in time. I got to finish tallying up their stats. They got to be my winningest army that I have. They have got to have like the best record ever. Those are the Burgundians. Well, this is starting to turn a little pink, which is okay. Um, I think I read somewhere that at some point pink was like a manly color. Um, I don't know where I read that. I need to remember these things. I need to write them down. Um, it wasn't in the 20th century. It was, medieval times or something like that. I'm like, that's kind of different. You Googled it. What what's that saying? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Yeah. No Oktoberfest, no Carnival. I don't care about Carnival, but Oktoberfest, yeah, I never done it. Never done it. Which is a shame because nothing to dislike about that. Okay. I'm happy with this color. I'm really happy with this color, actually. Focus, damn it, focus. Yeah. I don't know what we're gonna do with the shield. Not worried about it right now. Let's do the lance. I like that kind of lance color we've been doing. Again, paint what you know. I don't know what you're gonna do about the shield. You know what? You don't worry about it. Move on. Move on to something else. It's not important. I don't remember this is the exact lance color I used, but it doesn't have to be exactly on. It can just be a just similar type color. Carnival is big in our area. It starts November 11th and goes until March with parade. Jeez, talk about dedication. With parades, parties, dances, and drinking, it makes Oktoberfest look like a long weekend. I don't know what that is. I thought that was just, you say Carnival, and what I think of is, uh, the Brazil thing, the thing just before Lent. Boy, I'm forgetting everything. I'm gonna be a treat in 5 years. Mardi Gras, that's what it is. Yeah. I was thinking of Mardi Gras. You have Mardi Gras you guys have Mardi Gras until when? Until March. It's November, December. You have 4 months of it? Man, you guys go through like extreme measures to not start another war, man. You party for freaking 4 months. Uh, yeah, I don't get angry when I drink either. I'm quite pleasant. No, I'm quite pleasant. Not a care in the world. 4 months of partying. I didn't know it was a German thing. I'm going to have to look it up. That's it. We're going to write notes. I got my little pen here. These are things to write, to look up when I get bored of commentaries I hear. So we're going to do Deutsches Carnival. Okay. We're going to look that up. We don't party every day, but there are highlights and clubs that kind of carnival, building floats and parades and preparing for the comedy shows. Comedy shows in Germany? Now I know you're making shit up. You guys don't have a sense of humor. The whole world knows that. Oh man. Hey, it's not my opinion. I just hear things. That's all. I just hear things. I just hear things. Hey, most of my viewers are from the UK. They're not going to argue with me. They're going to know that you guys don't have a sense of humor. It's all good. I have to look that up. I'd never heard of that. But, there's no reason I would know that. Okay. I got a couple of elements I still have to build my medieval German army to make them 3.0 compatible. I should probably do that right after this. But, what I'm supposed to do and what I end up doing are sometimes frequently do not coincide. But I've got my medieval German 413C list that is in the old 2.2 version. And they have a couple of elements of spear that I've got to convert them into being a 413B list and just do a late version of that one along with a couple stands of blade. I got figures to paint up for them. And And oh, hold on a second. Do you need me? Okay, I'll be right back. Let's just leave the room. Okay, and we're back. All right, let's see what I missed. Holy moly. Let's see here. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Carnival is big in the West, not so much in the East. I'll agree the British have the best sense of humor, Germans, but it's not as sophisticated. Oh, so more like fart jokes. Okay. German stand-up often evolves in a cabaret where the satire is more serious and thought-provoking. German stand-up. Okay. Yeah, humor is all over the place. Humor is not something you can say, well, everybody likes this kind of thing. I tend to like British humor, but there's just some things I don't appreciate or I don't get. And a lot of the humor these days seems like it's devolved into awkward, awkward pausing stuff, which it just isn't my cup of tea. So, George Carlin is awesome. George Carlin was freaking awesome. Yeah, like Carlin. Yeah, the whole awkward pauses thing, I don't get it. I don't really care for that. But then, I don't fall into one of those, oh, well, it's not American, it's no good. Oh, there's plenty of shit here. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, there's plenty of crap here. I, I actually prefer foreign movies. Here we just seem to rehash the same actors over and over again. And I like watching things with people that you don't know, you don't have any preconceptions of what it is. So, okay. Gloves for this fellow. You always liked Harvey Korman, Tim Conway on the Carol Burnett show. Yeah, those guys were really good. Those guys are really good. Yep. I'm old like you too. No, I appreciate old stuff, when things didn't have to, things could be funny without having to be, cussing. Yeah. Nice thing for me, I can fluently bilingual. I can enjoy British, North American, Australian, German humor. I've dipped deeply in the last 20 months. Yeah. Okay. Gloves. All right. What kind of gloves do we have on the other one? The other guy has some light colored gloves. Let's do some boot action here. Let's give this guy the boots. Yeah. Yeah, humor's all over the place. I'm definitely old school. I definitely grew up in the different time period than what's around now. The PC crap. English uniform. Is it really English uniform? Well, laughing's ahead of my time. Carol Burnett was un-PC? Well, I don't know. I haven't seen it in a while. It certainly wouldn't bother me. But I grew up with stuff like Don Rickles and stuff. You couldn't handle stuff like that now. Like, I love the ethnic jokes. That's my favorite kind of humor. You can keep the sex stuff and the cussing. None of that's necessary. But the racial, ethnic stuff, I love that stuff. That's what I grew up with. You make fun of everybody, and then you go home and you don't hate anybody. You just we're all in this together. You just make fun of each other's differences, which that's what I grew up in. That's why I'm old school. Whatever. I ain't changing for nobody. They can just get their man buns in a twist. Yeah. not that old, but raised in a different time, definitely. Well, the way I look at it is I had a much older dad than most people. My dad was 55 when I was born. Is that right? Or is it 56? Or is it 45 or 46? I don't know. I can't do math. It's afternoon. I can't do math anymore. Anyways, I had an older dad. So, by rights, my dad should have been, I was born in 71. So my dad should have been like a hippie or that hippie generation. And he wasn't. He was, the age of a dad of someone that was that age. So I kind of skipped that whole PC, type thing. So, oh well. Good. Whatever. I was always the youngest guy in our gaming group too. Even my buddy that I played with all the time, was he 2 years older than me? Or a year older than me, or a year and a half, something like that. Mitch is 3 years older, I think, something like that. Once you turn 25, you don't care. Guys don't care how old they are. We don't care anymore. Just let me know when I can retire so I can exhale. Now that you invented political correctness, I didn't invent it. I don't want to be an adult in these times. I want to be an adult in the times when I was a kid. How about that? I want to be an adult when I can have a hard day at work and just have a martini for lunch. Martini lunches, yeah, I missed out on that. Example: Cher showing up in an Indian costume on As the Stomach Turns with a hairdresser as well. Her comments. Yeah. Well, that example you showed me doesn't bother me. That's the stuff that you just laugh about it. Who are you really offending? Whatever, you know? People who get offended by that just had parents that didn't spank them. There you go. There's your problem. You don't think that's funny? Well, let me give you a good belt whipping and then you'll find it funny. Oh, man. Good times. Good times. Being an adult is overrated. I don't know. I like being an adult. Kids now are screwed. I mean, they got a lot of things that are real easy, but they got to make so much more. You know, they got to make so much more money now than we did as a kid, as kids starting out, just to keep the same quality of life. They do. I mean, when I was a kid, you didn't have cell phones. Now, if you don't have a cell phone and you have a cell phone payment, you're like, even poor people have a cell phone. Another cost that we didn't have. That's how they get you. That's how they get you. All right, this guy needs boots. We used that color. Let's use the same color and not lighten it up as much for the boots. How about that? How about it? I'm not offended. I'm surprised that being offended has become a thing. So you're offended. Big deal. It doesn't hurt you. Yep. Yep. We're going to use this color for the les boots. Being offended might open your mind to new ideas. Said no one ever. I doubt they're looking at it that way. People are just weird. The internet's really weird. The internet allows you to interact with other folks like we're doing right now. And it also allows some interactions that just didn't exist before. Just recently, was it today or yesterday? Somebody made some, I was on it was Instagram, I think is what it was. And some guy made like, start using profane language to some comment that I made. And I'm like, so what do I do? Do I go and attack him and defend myself? No, I just block the guy. Like, I don't need to, like, screw you, you know? I don't need to hear from you again. You know, I'm not like, oh, well, I'm going to defend my position and make him change. I don't give a shit. Let a guy go to hell and get cancer. I don't care. You know, I'm not going to waste my time on lost causes. But lots of people out there are like, man, well, I got to defend my position. I'm like, I'm not going to, I don't like arguing people's faces. I'm certainly not going to do it with somebody that I've got no history with and am never going to meet. You know, if you're going to automatically like be nasty, like, yeah, see ya. You're not worth my time, dude. Not worth my time. Certainly not for something hobby related. You don't bring no don't bring any angst to my therapy session. Maybe. I said I wasn't going to lighten this up. Maybe we're just going to do the edges on this. Make it pop a little bit. What do they call it? Keyboard commando. Is that what it is? People that get into debates and, I'm not interested. If I like the color red and you like the color green, cool. Enjoy green. I like red. Or, whatever. Just smile and wave. Penguins of Madagascar. Yeah. Hey, little D, what's happening? Oh, you changed your name again. Hold on a second. Plays World War II. Don't we all? Well, I don't anymore. I do, but not in miniatures. I don't play World War II. I love it too much. Hey, you just started doing some kind of World War II gaming or something like that. I saw that. I haven't checked that out. I'm not sure if that's on yet, but yeah. Penguins of Madagascar. Yeah. Watched that quite a bit. Always like Kowalski. And I'm not a math science guy, but I like that. I like that guy. It was funny. And the dumb one reminds me of so many people I work with, so maybe that gets a little too close to home. Oh, been on a while. I have 2 hours and 50 minutes. Yeah, I've went from falling asleep to interacting with people, and now I'm awake. I do need to cut out in about 20 minutes for sure. I'm gonna go out and hang out with the mother. We're gonna go watch some kind of shoot 'em up movie. I don't know what it is yet, but I'm sure it'll be something like that. Julian was my favorite character. See, and I couldn't stand him. I couldn't stand him. But you know what? He reminded me of somebody that I didn't like. So maybe that's why, to be fair. Yeah. Yeah. Again, humor is different for different people, you know? Some people love The Office, and I never cared for it. It's too awkward. Like, really? This is funny? I mean, so it's just, that's why there's so much different kind of humor, you know? Nothing says romance like a shoot 'em up. Yeah. I found him to be brilliantly two-faced. Yeah, that's what reminded me of the guy. I don't like. Here's a hint. I don't like two-faced people. Don't pretend to be somebody else. Just be yourself. If you're an asshole, just be an asshole and own it. I'd make a terrible salesperson, you know? I mean, unless I really believed in what I was selling. And then, yeah, then I'm a good one. But yeah, it's too difficult to pretend to be somebody that you're not. When you tell the truth, you don't have any trouble keeping your lies straight. Brilliantly two-faced. I don't think I've ever heard anything referred to as that. That's, man, that guy's two-faced. Oh, you don't like him? No, he's brilliant. What? Oh, let's see if this guy's hiding some green leggings underneath there. Nah, that's a little too pastel all in one. I don't mind using that color, but we'll use it with something else. Let's just do standard, like a gray fair. I don't want this guy to be all too fancy. Too fancy costs money, and this guy wouldn't be a mercenary fighting for somebody else if he was loaded. So fancy is colorful clothes. Colorful clothes cost money. This guy's more practical. Mhm. I'm an excellent salesman because I don't care and have no ego. I'm the best, but I have no ego. What? Yeah, I wouldn't be a good salesman. I don't want to be sponsored by anybody. I don't want to be in one of those situations where it's like, let's say Windsor and Newton sponsors me or whatever, just to say a name. Some company that makes brushes. And the brushes are great, and I believe in them, and they sponsor me. And all of a sudden, they cut corners, and their brushes are not crap. I don't want to be put in a situation where I have to pretend like all is good. I want to tell it like it freaking is. It's, I wouldn't be good at that. I wouldn't be a good lawyer either. Hey, I need you to represent me. Sorry, dude, you're guilty as hell. You're going to hell. Somebody else. Nope. Thank goodness there's other people for you, because I wouldn't be one of them. I don't have moral dilemmas. I don't stay up at night and have trouble sleeping. Not this guy. Did we know this guy? It sure does look like we did. All right. Let's let's clean that up a little bit. Let's polish this up. Brilliant speech. Watch anything for Yes Minister. Okay. With subtitles. Some of those British shows are, well, even American shows. I watch everything with subtitles. It gets lost, and sometimes they just move too fast. I don't hear well either, so that doesn't help. I watch everything with subtitles, which is why I don't mind foreign movies, because they're going to have subtitles anyways. So, speaking of salesmen, I don't understand why the whole car thing is the way it is. It's ridiculous. It's a lot easier for us with leases. It's just like, here's how much we want to pay, and we don't want to put any money down. You do the math. Well, we can't do that. Okay, then we move on. But none of this, well, you want to pay this? I don't give a shit. Here's what the number is. Be direct, and it saves everybody time. You can screw around with other people, but I think it makes it a lot easier. Makes it a lot easier. Okay. Well, I think we need to figure out what the hell we're gonna do. It's a sitcom about 30 years ago. When is that? 1990? That wasn't that long ago for me. You know what's really bad about a comedy show? I don't like a laugh track to begin with. I hate it. But when something's not funny and it has a laugh track, and it's like it becomes really apparent that's like this really isn't funny because you think you expect us to laugh about this. Like, come on. All right, what are we gonna do with this shield? Well, I did see a shield that had the at an angle the bars, these stripes, but I think we need to get off the red and white thing for this guy. Um, all right, we're gonna do a little bit of research on. Let's see if we can pull this off quickly before I have to stop. But I don't want to start with this tomorrow of doing. Oh, that's a pretty picture. That's. We won't shoot my computer, so you won't see all the porn that I have on here. No, I'm kidding. That's on my phone. No, I'm kidding. Let's do a Google image search. One of my favorite things to do for Hungarian Nights. And images, and of course, everything is just a grain of salt. I'm looking for something that doesn't have to be anything in particular. Who's this dude? Oh, I know what I wanted to do. I just have to find it. Okay. Hungarian. I think it was on Pinterest. No, I'm not going to find it that way. There we go. There's a bunch of shields that were done a while ago, and I see if I can find it. We may have to dig deeper for this. We may have to dig deeper. A lot of this stuff you just have to pull out of nowhere. It just doesn't exist. I mean, the stuff that we want just does not exist. So, just does not exist. Anyhow, that this may be the spot where we probably need to stop, and I'll take a look at it this evening and maybe hit the ground running in the morning because we're definitely going to do some painting in the morning at 6 a.m. Eastern time. Should be on by then. So, but anyways, this was yeah. This was 3 hours. Yeah. So we got a figure finished and well on the way for the next one. So, okay, folks. Well, we will see you next time. And you guys have a good night. And we'll see you on Sunday morning. Good evening, folks, and happy painting. Bye-bye.